Okay, welcome back. This is the home stretch, and our plane just landed in Abia State, our virtual plane. Just landed in Abia State, and we're hoping we're having a fantastic conversation there, Alera.
Yes, the result of Saturday, 11th of April's governorship election was declared inconclusive on the evening of Monday the 13th. And it came as a result of cancellation of elections in 3 local governments. Now, to look at what the elections were like in Abia State with us, I'd like to welcome Dr. Eme Okoro, who is Secretary, Abia Elders Council.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm happy to be here again after being ejected.
I'm sitting beside him is the founder of the Due Process Advocates, Mr. Emeka Ogunye.
It's a pleasure to be here, ma'am.
Good morning. And on my right-hand side, I'd like to welcome Mr. Chibike Nwokeuku, who's a legal practitioner, and Mr. Leonard Onyemesiri, who's a human rights activist on the Justice, Development and Peace Commission.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Let me start with you, Sir Elder.
Yes, ma'am.
Some people say that there were no elections in Abia at all. How true is that?
First of all, ma'am, let me correct you in your opening statement.
Yes.
We are here on the premise of what was alleged to be an inconclusive election, not on the cancellation of any local government result. They said it was inconclusive because a number of polling booths, not local government, all local government results have been collected, and the final results entered, accepted in public domain.
Okay, so what's the problem there?
The problem for me is that a blumbering professor, the vice chancellor of the university, who is supposed to have done a professional job, did not do the right thing. And I explain an appropriate time. I'm saying, that when results are collated and you don't have any question about results that have come in, up to and including INEC headquarters, you cannot but produce a result. At the end of the day, before you even pronounce the victor, you have an opportunity to go through results, properly audit them. The professor did not do so. Professor Zumba did not do so, because given the number of accredited voters for this gubernatorial election, given the number of valid votes cast, the conclusion was very positive in favor of the PDP. I'm looking at data in the public domain, and there's nothing wishy-washy except his attitude. And the returning officer, Professor Zumba, didn't do the right thing. The resident electoral officer, who is a professor of mathematics, simply should have also seen elementary mathematics, that when you look at accredited, the number of people accredited does not amount to the number of valid votes. And the number of people registered also will not amount to the number of accredited voters. What will amount to valid votes is after the counting. You will see that a number of votes would have been rejected, and you have the summation of valid votes cast. It is on that premise that you decide to name a victor. That was not done. That was not adhered to. That's why I called him a blumbering, mischievous professor. And after all, he's also from my university. I feel sad. I'm a distinguished alumnus of that university. I feel sad, man.
I disagree with the characterization of Professor Ozumba's decision. I think it's, first and foremost, it's not correct for any of us participants here to decide to define the subject matter of discussion. That is within the exclusive preserve of the host. So you were right in your description of the reasons we're here. The Abia State election was marred by extraordinary violence. The violence that the country was able to avoid at the national level descended in Abia State. That was in itself sufficient basis for the returning officer or the INEC officials to make the decisions. I'm astonished to walk in here and listen to a gentleman say that everything looked normal and it's the fault of INEC. Absolutely, they acted properly. The incumbent governor and the incumbent party, the PDP, apparently resorted to use of violence, intimidation, ballot box stuffing, and so many, a host of irregularities. Any of
Were
that
you
kind of
an observer
That
in
is
Abia?
that is very
yes,
important.
indeed, we are an observer, absolutely. My
Were you
organization-
present in Abia State on that date of election?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, simple question.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
Yes,
in
indeed.
Abia?
If the EU
Where were
is
you?
due process advocate, if the EU is my organization, we are abundantly present. Neither was Jega in Abia State. I have an organization. We sent people, trained them, prepared them, put them on the ground, and they were giving us sport update of what
So
was going
you
on.
are you are agreeable to rerun in supplementary elections? Is the point.
Absolutely. The alternative would have been to declare the result against the PDP, the author of violence. I can tell you that.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you're a legal practitioner.
Yes, sir.
Chief Nwokuku.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with the assertion of the two gentlemen?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to Nigerians. And in talking to Nigerians, we'll be talking from an informed position. The last speaker, from the way he spoke, from his argument, it is clear, it is obvious, he was nowhere near Abia State. Not being anywhere near Abia State, he is not in a position to tell Nigerians what he's telling us now. Elections in Abia State were conducted freely and fairly. There were international observers, there were security men. A man as highly placed as the Deputy Inspector General of Police monitored the election throughout the length and breadth of Abia State and reported that everything was fair.
Okay,
I'm not relying on information given to me by anybody. I was personally present during the elections in my area.
Hold on. Excuse me, sir.
Intimidating anybody. He is right. I wasn't with him there.
Excuse me.
But we know what happened.
Can you please just hold on? You were in Abia State.
I was in Abia State.
Were you in every location in Abia
It's
State?
not possible to be in every location.
So you were in one location.
I was in one location.
But you had your
So
people.
was I.
Yeah. But you had your people giving you information.
Of course, yes.
Okay, fantastic. You were not in Abia State.
At all.
But I have
You let him answer. Were you in Abia State?
Personally, no.
You were not there.
Yes.
But you had your people on ground.
On the
Who
ground.
were giving you information.
Well prepared.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
You said
Now-
I'm coming to you. You said there were international observers
Of course they were.
who gave their own verdict of the results or their verdict of the conduct of the elections
That's
in
it.
Abia State. And one of those observers, Ms. Shirley Wilson from Noble Leadership Initiative, United Kingdom, testified at the center that elections did not take place in Osisiomangwa.
Let me explain that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain that. She would have been in Osisioma local government. She would also have been in Ward 3, which was the particular ward where issues arose on that day. It is true that the election did not start in Osisioma Ward 3 until about 2 o'clock. So if that international
Hold on.
Just a minute.
Okay.
If that lady was at Osisioma between the hours of 8 and 1, when the election had not started, and went away with her report, she'll be right to say there was no election. But if she was there any time after 2 o'clock, she would have been the greatest liar of the century to say that there was no election.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, please. Please hold on.
Authoritatively.
Hold on.
Okay.
You were in Abia State?
Yes.
Where were you in Abia State?
First of all, let me start with this way. My organization.
I beg your pardon. The question is, where were you
In Abia State.
Okay. I covered Abia North, Abia South, Osisioma.
Good. What was your experience? What happened in Osisioma
Good.
particularly?
We dispatched observers all over. Now for Osisioma, I was actually covering Abia North, Abia South. When we had an incident that there was no accreditation in Osisioma, then we now went.
Which ward in Osisioma?
Excuse me, I'm coming. We went to Abai Girls Secondary School. There are people there who suffered. A lot of people are there to be accredited by 10, 11, 12. We are wondering what is happening. We asked some people, they said the material they had brought there is incomplete. Then we drove. We went to the Abai Hall. People were there waiting to be accredited. There was no voting. Then, we drove to the local government. And there we saw the man that is in charge of the INEC. And we said, these are the issues that we have seen in the field. And the few places we went to the Osisioma, he actually also confirmed that Ward 7, Ward 6, there was no voting. This was around 2:30. We had our facts, which those people who were there to vote, we asked them, what was the workers told you? There's no material. And we said, okay. There are some people who were there who were saying, don't worry, the material is coming at about 2:30. I'm telling you the places I visited, not that I was told. Then we came back to the Abia girls. And I want to tell you that some of the places I went and I witnessed this. Because as an observer, in my own organization,
shall we be given the same equal time?
Oh, no, hello, sir.
Well, I'm timing him because I will get the same minutes.
Can we please be still and let's get this on ground?
Yes, we are listening to
Let him establish the point that you will respond to. He's not a politician.
I represent myself as a lawyer. I represent myself as a lawyer. What am I a politician?
Gentlemen,
and I'm telling you exactly what happened on that day.
Can we?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Please.
Can I make my point?
Do you want to
allow the
gentlemen? Let him finish, and you will get your time.
Thank you.
Okay, excuse me.
Yes.
If you keep interrupting him, then you will not get the time. Because if they tell me we're shutting down, we shut down.
Yes. Please, I want to know this. I'm not a politician.
Just go.
I don't belong to any party.
Just get to the
But
point.
what we are here is to tell you, tell Nigerians what we saw in the field. And it is what I
saw. You talked about Ward 6, Ward 7, and Abia girls.
Yes.
There was no election.
There was no election.
There was why? Excuse me, sir.
Don't interrupt him. Don't interrupt him.
I want to know.
At what were the issues? No election material?
No election material is incomplete. There is no result sheet. There is no ballot paper.
In these 3 wards that you visited?
Yeah, that I visited.
And the INEC official?
And then I went to the INEC officials. There we asked, these places that we went, there was no, people were there, but they are not there to, there are no material for them to vote. Then he confirmed that some of the staff called him. I said, when did you dispatch your material? He said, on Friday, he dispatched all this material with security men. But on the Saturday morning, around 8, 9, the supervisor who was actually in charge of those places, he called. The supervisor's phone was off. That was what he told me.
As at 3 p.m. you said?
I said there was no voting.
Okay, let's come back to you, Dr. Eme. As at 3 p.m. he says there was no election.
No accreditation.
No accreditation, no elections in Ward 3, in Abia girls, in Ward 6 and in Ward 7 of Osisioma. Yes. And this is Osisioma that Shirley Wilson says there was no election. These are at 3 p.m. So please let's get your response.
I was not that the first rule of negotiation is the issue of Sheila Wilson.
Special plan gets me. Treats me like
beyond Sheila Wilson at any headquarters with me present. Too many of them claiming to be Sheila Wilson is Arab, claiming to be South African, claiming to be international observer. There were too many international observers, even those who followed Alex Oti to my house in Ozitem, claiming international observer.